guys, I'm Ree.
I'm Mar.
I'm Shianne.
I'm Levi.
This is the Need to Know. Just so you guys know, this is actually our last episode of the season that we're doing.
Oh, wow. Y'all didn't tell me
that. So today we're doing levels of a relationship. Usually, I feel like we did something similar to this in a previous season. So we're going to start off with letting you guys introduce yourselves. And then we are going to go right into it, okay?
So, my name's Levi Walks. Degree in architecture. Have a small business on Instagram, _law designs. And yeah, that's me.
I am Shianne Wisdom. And I really don't feel like going through what I do. So just follow me on Instagram and you'll just see it in my bio.
So we're going to start off with, what is your relationship status? We're gonna
Single. Like a Pringle.
Taken.
I am also taken.
I'm single.
Oh, this is an interesting episode.
Yeah.
Both the women are single and both the men are taken.
Alrighty. So you guys is ready?
Yep.
When did you, so clearly this is for the guys. So when did you know it was time to take the next step in your relationship? Like we're exclusive.
Like
boom, that's it.
Okay.
Just like that.
It was kind of quick for me. I don't know why, but we started talking in like November of 2019, and then I'd say around March is when I knew like I wanted to be my girlfriend. So, but I don't remember necessarily like why it shifted. Remember like, okay, we've been on a few dates, like it was just good vibes, and like I just got like this energy from her that was like, okay, like I see you long term. So I just knew like then. I didn't ask her until maybe like June or July. No, it was July. Yeah, I do remember, because the first time I asked her, like I kind of asked her like stupidly. It was like I wanted to ask her, but like I kind of didn't go about it the right way. So like I had to like regroup myself and then ask her again like formally. So yeah.
Not regroup myself.
Like, that time, like, because I think I asked her, it was like in the car, and I was just like, hey, do you want to do this? And it was just like, and then immediately after saying, I was just like, that was stupid. I should have. I was like, all right, let me like come back to you. Like, let me like do this formally. So like, I did a whole like shebang with a poster. Asked her friend to help me and everything, and it was like a whole big thing.
Oh, that's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I realized that I wanted to take it to the next level because of like our vibe together and basically how we meshed, and you know, she was funny, and like it was just we work well. And also I feel like an aspect that really pushed me was the past. Like I always just been on some regular single, you know, do what I want shit. And I got tired of it, and then once I met her, I was just like, she's the whole package. Like I'm not about to dip on this. So you know, but this was a problem because we was going out like consistently, but I never asked her. I just was like, all right, we together now. Like, like men do. We just be like, all right, this is just us now. And then after a while, she's like, when you going to ask me to be your girlfriend? Like, what's going on? I'm like, what you mean? We official. She's like, you never asked me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. We just on the phone, just awkward, like, so you want to be my girlfriend? She's like, nah, we not doing it like that. So, you know, did it officially. We went out, and then I asked her when I brought her home, and the rest is history.
Oh, that was nice. You guys did some nice stuff. Okay. Damn, that was nice. I don't even know what to follow up with, because let me see. I don't know. I guess those are actually nice stories, because I've never, like, I feel like guys usually be like, oh, so what is this? You know, like girls usually be like the ones to like initiate that conversation. And it's just like, what? Like, why I got an issue? Why can't you say like, oh, well, I want this, da da da. I like that you guys did that. That was nice.
I have a question for him though, because he said that he was always on like the single, whatever, I do what I want. So how did you like adapt to now being in like a full blown exclusive relationship?
Just basically everything that I was doing before, I didn't want now.
Okay.
And so, and of course I've had examples of monogamous, faithful relationships in my life. But just through my experiences, I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with that. And even through the beginning, like certain things she would do, or even me, I would do, we would come together like, yo, I'm not going to accept this. Like, I want you, I'm going to let you know, like, I want this to work, but we can't be doing these things because in the long run, it's going to be detrimental. So,
Right.
yeah. This experience, I guess, is the answer.
No, that's actually really like interesting. Like I feel like as we get older, we realize, okay, like this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're not gonna do. But the fact that you guys came together like so quickly in your relationship to be like, okay, I'm not dealing with this, I'm not dealing with that, is actually really good. Yeah. I don't really hear. I see grown, full blown like 30-year-olds can't do that. Like it makes no sense. Like I'm like that doesn't make any sense, and it's like. I don't feel. This is a great example. I'm gonna use this one because I was not to be like an asshole to him, but it was just like we were great friends, and like we had these conversations. Like, okay, he was like, well, I'm dating this girl now, usually, and he doesn't like date like in relationships. So I was like, kind of like, oh, he's dating this girl, like, oh, okay, and then he's like, yeah, she gave me an ultimatum. I'm like. How old are we to be, why are we giving ultimatums? Is either, you're with me or you're not. Right, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, you guys were like seeing each other before, no problem. I was like, what was that ultimatum that you really like stopped what you wanted to do to be with this person? Like if I want to be with you, I'm gonna be with you. Like, I feel like that's what it should be like, but you shouldn't have to give me an ultimatum to make that decision. It's either, okay, we've been talking for this amount of time. I'm fucking with you. I'm not fucking with you, But it's like, why did you like allow this person to give you an ultimatum? So it's like, would you guys take that ultimatum, or are you just walking out?
No. If I feel like if I have to almost bargain with you to be with me, it's like you can go.
Yeah.
Like it should be a decision. It should be something that you want to do. Like okay, this is what I want, and this is what I don't want. If I have to give you, that's like what women who give ultimatums to men that they want to marry.
Yeah.
It's like you either marry me or I'm leaving. It's just like clearly he doesn't want to marry you.
Yeah.
So just take it as that and leave, honey.
Yeah.
Like no, because then the thing is, you get what you want in that moment, but then as time progresses, you're gonna start to feel that he didn't really want to do this right now, type thing. You know. So no thanks.
Yeah, I feel like for people. And this is talking to everybody. If you want to be in a relationship, I think the most important part is if you're going to make this, if you want this to last forever, our intentions always have to be, the best for you.
Yeah.
So even through arguments, through misunderstood communications, whatever, if in your mind you're like, his or her intention is always the best for me, then I'm not going to take this as him trying to play me. I'm not going to take this as him trying to, treat me as a child or whatever the, issue might be. It's like, I always know for a fact, foundationally, that you want the best for me. So let's work off that. Yeah. I feel like that solves a lot of issues, because I see in relationships, like on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, issues like something happens and it's misunderstood or, whatever. And it's like, oh, now we got this beef. It's like, well, you got beef with your partner. Like, that shit, y'all on the same team. Like, why are you trying to score against your teammate? And so, yeah, just keep that in mind. That's my tidbit.
Yeah, I would say to the ultimatum thing, like, one, I'm not giving that because I feel like if you wanted me from jump, you would have said it before. But in the same sense, like, if my girl was to give me one, it's kind of like, well, why are you forcing me to make a decision now? Even though it's like I understand, like, okay, if we, because I know my girl, like, from the start, she said, yo, like, I'm not being your girlfriend for 5 years. Like, within 5, like, if 5 years pass and you
funny.
still, because I'm like, I understand where she's coming from, like, because she was like, if I'm your girlfriend for like 8 years and you never propose, it's like, what is the next step for our relationship?
Yeah, I get that.
Which I was like, okay, I understand that. Like, so that ultimatum, like, even though it wasn't like a formal, like, oh, you have to marry within 5 years or I'm out. But it was more so like, okay, I understand. Like, she
gave you her expectations.
Yeah, like she wants our relationship to progress over time. Like, she doesn't want to stay stagnant. So I understood that. But in terms of like, oh, make me a girlfriend now or I'm out, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Because if I wanted you to be my girlfriend, I would have asked you. Yeah. But the fact that I didn't, it's like, okay, either I'm still trying to get to know you to get to that level, or this is just like a fling for me, and I just don't want that. So
Yeah, I feel like that's a good categorization between ultimatums and expectations.
Yeah, that's
that
that.
might be
Yeah,
confusing sometimes. It's like you said, oh, in 5 years I don't want to just be your girlfriend for 5
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Versus in 5 years you got to marry me.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
two completely different, questions.
So on previous seasons, we did talk. Me and Shamar have talked about like the being like marriage and shit like that. So I'm super not pro marriage. Like that's just not something.
I knew it. I could tell. I could just tell.
No, and I have my own personal reasons, but it's just more so. I don't feel like that defines the relationship that me and someone has. Like that's something that maybe in the future, yeah, of course it's a possibility, but it's like, yeah, the end goal is to be together, to be happy, to grow. But I feel like growth is the key to that relationship. Like I've seen relationships last a very long time. They're like strong, all that, but it's like marriage just wasn't that step for that pair, like sometimes that's just not something that people want. It's like, that's just some people it's just a piece of paper. Some people it's just like, okay, this is this. Like, do we really have to get married? Does this really define the relationship that we want, And that's just like something I've always like thought about. And like that's always stuck to my head. But I understand like that, like, oh, like I would like to get married in the next couple of years or and it's like a lot I feel like a lot of women know that that's what they want to do. They're like, oh well, I would like to get married like after this in my career and and men, I feel like they want to be stable before they pop that question. I feel like that's usually what it is. And I'm like, oh, wow, you see that? like, paying attention to, like, different people. And you're just like, oh, so this person wanted to wait till they were stable. But then it's like, women just like, oh, so are you going to ask me?
Yeah.
Are you going to, did you guys have this conversation? And it's like, oh, did you guys have this conversation, like, before? Like, did you guys talk about marriage, Was that a table talk thing? Like, oh, we're on a date. I would like to get married at this point. Like, did you guys talk about that? And there's just some people just never bring that conversation up. Like, when would you bring that conversation up?
For me, it was kind of like the start of a relationship. Like even in the talking stage, because I knew somewhere within the talking stage, like, okay, she's a potential to be like the one. But for me, marriage was kind of like it was one of those big things that's like, if we don't align, then it may not work. I was kind of the same with like kids. Like if you don't want kids, I don't know how it's going to work because I want kids. So it's like, there's no point in me sticking here and knowing that you don't want kids, even though I know that can change. But for me, I was just like, if you don't believe in marriage or like you just like against marriage fully, then it's like, I'm not saying it can't work, but for me, I don't see it working. Yeah, to a certain degree. Like I get Serena's point. Like the more she talked about it, the more I'm like, okay, I see what you mean. Because in the same sense, marriage doesn't solve everything in a relationship. Like you could be married to somebody you
hate
actually
them.
despise. So, but for me, I was just like, at some point in my life, I do want to be married to the person I love and build a family and do all that with. So for me, it was just like, if you don't see that happening for you, like, I'm not saying you're a bad person or like I hate you or something. It's just more like, okay, then my vision and your vision doesn't align, and that's kind of what I want in my relationship. So
do you think that changes though?
That could change. Like somebody could say now they don't want to get married, and over time they kind of like start to believe it in it, or they actually do want it to. But I knew for myself, like, I didn't want to take the risk of like that not changing for you, and then it's like we've been in a relationship for 10 years and you still haven't changed. It's like, kind of like, damn, okay, I either have to wait for you to change, or I have to like end a relationship and start over with somebody. But I'm older now, so it's kind of like, and for me, like past 40, I'm not getting married. Like
10 years is a long time. Yeah, that's deep.
Nah, for me, well, here's the thing. Like, I was always the girl that was just like, yeah, I want to get married, blah blah blah. As I'm getting older, I'm not saying it's changing, but because like I'm Christian, and then like my family is Christian. The marriage is like the big thing, like you were saying, it's like that big goal of like your relationship. And as I'm getting older and like discovering, people, and even me, it's just like I'm starting to agree. Like, it's not really, that's not the end all be all to something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I would love to get married no time soon. But I would love to get married. But it's just like, I'm starting to learn that that's really not the end all be all. But then at the same time, too, I'm not, because I came out of a relationship. We were together for 4 years. I'm not doing that again. And I'm not, like, engaged in it. You get what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm not doing that. So it's like, I don't know. I'm still in between because it's just like, yes, that was something drilled in me because of how I grew up. Yeah. So it kind of takes some time to, like, figure out what is it that you really want without other people's, you know, perspective on that. Because I did grow up with seeing a marriage. My mom got married to, he's not my father, my stepfather. And so it's not like I didn't see it. I did see it pretty often. But it's just like, when you were talking, I'm just like, that was something that was almost drilled into me since I was a kid, because they say, like, as a Christian, that's what your goal should be. Like, that's, you know? And so,
like a milestone. Yeah,
that's a milestone. And it could be. I'm just, you know, right now, I don't know if that's like a goal right now. It's more of that healthy, and that healthy, what's the word? That healthy ground. Like that healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like foundation.
Foundation, that's what it is. The healthy foundation and growth, like Serena said. Like, that's the focus. And then I feel like naturally, marriage should come up, you know? Not like a forceful type thing, but again, I'm not doing that whole long relationship thing, and it's nothing. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing to show for it, really. So, yeah, I feel like for marriage, same Christian household, whatever. But even as a kid, and even to this day, if something doesn't make sense to me, I'm always asking questions. I'm like, nah, explain this to me, please, because I'm not gonna do it if it doesn't make sense. And so, when I met my girl and we were talking about marriage, like pretty early on, it was basically like, okay, what does marriage mean to us? Like, are we doing this for us or for other people?
Right.
And when we spoke about it, it was basically like, you know, in the last topic, we was talking about saying things out loud and writing things down and seeing it makes a difference. I feel like the ceremony or the act of getting married is that, you know, physical acknowledgement, like, hey, I'm committed to you. We're not going, you know, we're going to build together this and that. So I feel like that's the significance of it. It's not the ring. It's not the party, the pictures, all that shit. It's us. And so, in terms of like when we're going to get married, like we both want it, of course, but it's like, that's not really super important. It's more important that we get good in our foundation before we have this whole big party, whatever.
Like for me, it's important, not now because I'm in a relationship, but in the future, it would be important for me to see, like, okay, is it that, so if because the old me, if I heard somebody say, like, oh, the guy was with, like, oh, marriage is not really that important to me, I start to think, like, oh, because you leaving, you know, like, you planning on leaving. Right. Now it's just, like, I would have to see, like, what is your reasoning behind what you say? You know, that doesn't necessarily mean, like, oh, they're about to leave or they want to play you. But also, I feel like it's a red flag too sometimes, especially when you have a conversation and you realize like why somebody doesn't really want to commit long term. That's like a red flag, marriage or not. Yeah, it's just like if you don't want to commit, if you have issues with commitment, that's an issue. Yeah.
I see people. I have a friend, and he's always like, he looked like Chris Brown. First of all, I just want to disclaim that. So
I want to see when you done. I want to see.
I'll be the judge. So he's been out here in these streets for a minute. And, you know, I spoke to him, not recently, but it was a little while ago. And the way he was speaking about, you know, interacting with women and, like, their role in his life, it was kind of, like, twisted. So I'm, you know, and I think it's a product of how he was living and, like, how you said commitment and how it was always like, okay, I'm with this girl, on to the next one. Versus, I'm with this girl, she has good qualities, let me see where this can go. And so... yeah, I feel like the commitment part of it is, you know, something you should really ask your partner before you get serious. Yeah. Because they could just be like, it's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask that question, clearly marriage is not in their foresight, or long-term relationship is not in their foresight if they have an issue with commitment. Yeah. Or if you're okay with sharing him or her, then that's...
yeah, do your thing.
Yeah.
But what was it that he was looking for from these girls? Like... what is it that he was getting from them?
one girl like kind of helped him organize his business.
I'm fucking crying. Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yo.
and so he's like, yeah, you know, she's she got this car that we, you know, she's leasing, and then I use that to do my deliveries and this and that. And but then at the end he was like, yeah, because you got to use these women to build this and that, and you know, she's this. And I was just like, I'm just listening like,
that's toxic, man.
And I'm trying to tell him, but he was so far gone, and I'm like, this is all your experience because of what you've been doing. It's like me telling you, I'm gonna tell you if you bugging, but I'm not gonna change your mind because this has been your life. So I was just like, I hope you have a.
How old is he?
He's older than me, so he might be like 26. Yeah, like 26, 25.
And he's having sex with these girls.
Yeah, of course.
All right. I understand. I don't believe, but I don't know. I feel that in that situation, like you said, that's just how, you know, he was moving. Like, and it's like, I don't think so much with, I'm on both sides of the table. I feel like it's not that he's scared of commitment or he doesn't, it's probably he just don't understand that something like for himself. Like, that's probably also what it is. Like, oh, like he sees like, oh, life is I have to use somebody to get something. It could be that also.
And if he thinks like that, he might think that these women think like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Clearly she's doing it. So it's just like, whatever.
And they're not speaking up about it. Like, they're not saying anything.
Yeah, like what?
They're not saying anything, you know, to like counteract and stop that. Like, I see what you mean. But that, yeah.
But
wilding.
a lot of times too, like I don't want to speak for all men, but there's some men that are scared to commit because they committed before and that person hurt them, and so they don't want that experience again. So they kind of like, okay, I'm going through the motions because the last time I did this, it didn't work. But it's like, instead of taking the time to heal and like be by yourself, you kind of like, okay, well, if commitment didn't work for me, I'm just gonna like sleep with this person, move on, and then it's like, you're not taking the time to heal. You're just kind of like avoiding that process. So
when is the time to move on? Like,
I felt like for me, like I've had past relationships that kind of took a while to move from. For me, it was kind of like once I saw that person and no feelings was there. Because for me, if I saw that person and feelings were still there, then it's like I can't move on because I know at the end of the day, like even if I'm with somebody else, if I see you, everything changes, or I start reacting differently. Like, oh, I get nervous, and it's just like I shouldn't be at that point. If I see you, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like, there should be nothing attached. Like, but if there's still feelings there or something attached, like, then I still haven't healed myself from this situation, or like I have a risk of like going back. And it's just like, I shouldn't be there. So
he said I shouldn't be there.
I feel like it depends on what feelings you're talking about.
I was thinking.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say.
Okay. Like,
wait. Before you continue, I wanted to say this because you definitely said this on a different episode, and I wanted to say it so bad. I like, and this is from experience. I feel like people don't understand that emotions just don't go away over time. Like. That's not true. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, I think that, like, your heart has to heal itself. I agree. But it's like, if you loved somebody and you cared about this person, that is never in life going away. Like, I don't care what anyone tells you. Like, I don't care what you tell yourself. Like, when you see that person, or you see something about that person, that you care. Like, you cared about that person. That doesn't just go away. Like,
it's almost like a familiar, like muscle memory.
Yes.
So it's just like when you see them, how you felt when you guys were together or whatever, that comes back because of like muscle memory, not because like, oh my gosh, I need to be with them again.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's familiar.
Familiar
it's familiar.
that you had.
And it's not good or bad. It's just that's how you felt. Like, that's a real, like, those are real emotions that you cannot, like, in life, they're just never. That's like how you feel about a parent, like, or how you feel about a sibling. Like, that's a love that, like, you're just not gonna go away. Like, and I feel like people think that, oh, I hate this person, da da da. Like,
but
no,
once that goes away, you still.
Well, yeah, I didn't mean like in terms of like not caring for the person. Of course, like I still have.
No, we're talking about actual love though, not just caring.
I don't mean like, oh, if I see you, like I have to stop loving you for me to move on. Like, of course, I'm still have love for the people that I was with before, because whether they were bad or good, you taught me something about myself that I wouldn't have got if you wasn't there. So I'm gonna always have love. I'm always care for that person. Like if they going through something, like of course I'm gonna reach out. Hey, you okay? Like it's just more so for me. Like, all right, maybe it wasn't like the feeling of not wanting to be with you anymore. It's just more like, I don't know what it was.
You moved on.
Yeah,
I
guess like I felt like I healed internally
on.
to where like, okay, this situation was this, like this was my past, and I want to move forward. Okay. And so yeah, I think it was like me more internally than like just seeing that person like, oh, okay, oh, I don't feel it, so let me just move on.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, it's really like if you have this ex and you know y'all was in love or you love this person, whatever, that love, if it was real, that love shouldn't change. You still be like, I hope you're okay. I hope you're, you know, things are well with you. You're taking care of yourself, this and that. But it's on the romantic side, really, where it's like, romantically, I don't want to be involved with you.
Right.
That's when you know you moved on. It's like, like, you know, I still care about you, but in terms of like dealing with your, you know, tendencies and wanting to be with you or sex or whatever the case, you don't have those feelings anymore. And once that happens, it's like, okay, I got you, bro.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's like, yeah, you still cool, but like us doing this again,
exactly.
No, I definitely experienced that, like with a couple of people. Like I'm friends with like a few exes of mine, like, and like we're actually like really good friends. Like we've built like a great friendship, but it's like I would always be like, I would never in my life like ever go back to that. Like that's not something like that's just like, you know, and I've said that like straight like that, like not to be like rude or disrespectful, but it's just like I will never like in my life make that choice again, because something constantly kept happening. That means it's time to move on, because why are we constantly going in the same circle? Like it makes no sense like to keep doing this. I'm like, we're not getting any younger.
Quick question, do you feel like exes can change? Like the situation you was going through is because they wasn't in a mental space to like get there, and then like over time like we could try this again? Or
so in regards to like my recent ex, we broke up in regards to like just things that weren't changing, and I was like, I'm mentally in a spot in a place in my life where I'm trying to grow, you know. I was like, if you're not trying to grow with me, this can't happen, you know. I was like, and I said this to him plenty of times, I was like, whatever situation you're going through, don't get me wrong, I'm always gonna hold you down, but I'm not gonna let you hold me back. Like it doesn't work that way. I was like, that was a bar.
That was a bar. I'm gonna hold you down, don't hold me back.
But it's like
tough.
I've said that plenty of times to him, and it's just like I would keep repeating myself. I'm like, yo, like it's not sinking in or something. Like what's happening? I was just like, I'm like, bro, I've did this for myself, and I'm like, why are you not like elevating too? Like we're like, what's going on? Like I should be a part of that motivation. And I'm like, you know, I'm a very motivational. Like I encourage people to do anything. I'm like, yo, you want to do this? No problem. What we doing? How we doing it? Like let's go. Like you know. But it's just like, if you're not trying to do that for yourself, I can't always be your biggest supporter. You have to be your own supporter. Like you have to be
push yourself.
You gotta push yourself. Right. But it's like I can't keep, you know, pushing you. And I was like, listen, it's too much, man. I can't be my own supporter, your supporter, they supported this person. Like I can't keep, you know, doing that. So I just had to like let that go. I was like, listen, I don't do this no more. I was like, this has nothing to do with like financially, nothing like that, you know, emotionally. I was like, you've been there emotionally for me, like you've been there for me that way. But it's like, if we're not elevating like together as a pair, we can't keep doing this. Like it's just, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. So no, I don't think that he will ever change, because to this day, like I don't see for real, like I do not see like the change, and it's like I don't understand.
I get it.
Yeah, with exes, I do believe exes can change, because I know I've changed as a person completely. And when I think of the things I did in my old relationships, I'm like, dang, That's kind of fucked up. I shouldn't have did that. Especially things I didn't take accountability for. But when it comes to the interaction between you and that ex, it all depends on if whatever they did or however they treated you in the past, can you get over that? Because if you can't, then don't even waste your time, because it's always gonna get brought up. It's always gonna be like a point of contention where it's like, you changed, you made changes, but you did this to me, and I'm still hurting off that. So if you can't get over that, then I mean, yeah.
Have you guys ever had a conversation with the ex to get some type of closure, or to just have a conversation? Oh my.
Yeah. What do you mean, like, if they broke up with you, or?
No, in any capacity, like, just had a conversation with them.
Yeah, I did, but it's because I did it. I did the breaking up, and then I felt bad about it. And so, not bad to the point where I wanted to, like, do it over. I just felt bad. So I had a conversation. I guess trying to explain, like, where my mind was, why I did what I did. And yeah, it's not smart to do it as soon as you break up, because it's just a whole bunch of tears and, like, a whole bunch of emotions. It's just like, bro. But after a while, I do believe in having that conversation. I don't always think, it depends on the type of relationship you had. Like, if you had a toxic relationship, I don't think closure will ever, like, fix something. Because it'll just be arguing back and forth. Hours, it's just like, no. I just got to cut you off, and that's just it. So it depends on the type of relationship you had. The relationship I was in, it wasn't a terrible relationship. So I could have a conversation.
Like, the way you broke up with this person.
I did it on Valentine's Day.
Oh, my God.
Damn.
No, but hear me out.
Was it like dates planned and stuff?
No, wait, yes. So hear me out.
The button.
It was
In the back.
I didn't want to sit there and go through the dinner knowing that I wanted to end this. It's just like, that's mad selfish. Like, I always felt mad. So while we was waiting, I'm just like, I don't think. Crazy thing is, we was waiting for dumb long, and they were like, I was just like, I think I said something like, yeah, we should just go. And then when we was leaving, I was like, I don't think we should go back. It does sting, you know.
That's tough.
It is, but I'm just like, I didn't want to sit. It was a steakhouse. I didn't want to sit there and knowing that bill's about to be over $100-something. Knowing in the back of my mind, like,
you know what? I could respect that.
Yeah.
I could respect that.
It'd be worse if you paid the bill and then, like,
Oh, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. So,
Like, yeah, how was dinner? It was great. So, about us.
listen.
yeah,
That'd be
I
rough.
was like, I'd rather you not.
Yeah, I've had a conversation with my ex. Not recently, but this was like.
You gotta give a disclaimer before your girl be like, why was you
Yeah, like no, babe, this was a long time ago. Yeah, like 2018. My ex, who, like, we kind of ended things, but it was like the relationship was bad from the start. Like, and I knew it was gonna be bad. I'm not saying she was a bad girlfriend. Like, she was great, but she had trust issues from the beginning, and I tried to be captain, like, save her or something. Yeah, like okay, she can't trust men. Like, let me be the guy to show her that she can. But she never, like, dealt with her problems internally. So
Oh, yeah, nah.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna work.
So the problem, like, it was just arguments after arguments, like her feeling like I was cheating on her or doing stuff. Like, one time I posted up Megan Good as my celebrity crush, and she thought it was like a real person. And in my head, I was just like,
So you don't know.
well, not a real person. Like, of course, Megan Good's a real person, but in my head, I'm just like, do you not know she's a celebrity? Like, but I think she knew she was a celebrity. It was just more so like, why do you like another girl? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like Megan Good in that capacity. I'm just saying she looks good. Like, as a celebrity, yes, like, she's beautiful. But she took it as, like, long story short, she took it as that. So,
Well, in my old toxic days, I was like that too. Like, the guy I was with, you posting somebody else, just like,
Yeah.
what? You're not even posting me? No.
yeah, which as I got older, I realized, okay,
Now it's
I
just
was, like, as I got older, I realized I was like, okay, maybe that was the wrong approach. Like, I shouldn't have even posted it. Like,
No, I
but-
disagree.
Yeah.
It's like now I'm saying like, duh, it's a celebrity crush, my nigga.
Like, I'm not gonna ever meet her. I'm not gonna sleep with her. Nothing. It's just.
And even if you meet her, I don't think you.
Yeah, you're not gonna jump at the opportunity.
So I don't know that. She's not mine now, because Christian said I don't know that, so it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, no.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
Yo, y'all are annoying.
For the sake of my girlfriend, it's 0%. But nah, like we had a conversation. But yeah, we had a conversation like a year after, because she went into the military, and like that was kind of how we ended things.
Wow.
Because she felt like, because I'm pretty sure everybody's aware, but in the military, like the first 3 months, they don't have their phone.
Yeah.
So she kind of felt like, and I felt it too. We were just kind of like
drifting apart.
Yeah, like you're gonna be in the military for 3 months. You already don't trust me.
What's
so
gonna happen now?
let's just kind of end things here. And she was just like, okay. A year later, we had a conversation, and she was like, how the real reason why she felt like we should have ended, because she felt like while she was in the military, I was gonna do something like cheat wise, and so it kind of got me mad all over again. I was just like,
I'm still in the same mindset a year
I'm
later.
like, I knew you had trust issues before, but why would you think I would ever do something like that to you? So like, I don't know. I believe in closure within relationships. I just think sometimes like if it's a toxic relationship or something that was just bad from the jump, like it's better to just, all right, like you was once there, now you're not. Like I moved on. I'm good.
That's funny. Well, I did mine as like a article, just so you guys know.
Wait, you wrote an article and then you sent it to him?
No, I told him that I would like to have a conversation. I had watched the podcast, and like it was in regards to like just understanding yourself after a relationship, like one that you probably would never talk to that person again. So I was like, oh, maybe I should try this with this person. And I contacted him, and I was like, I wanted to like have this conversation. He thought it was like for me to get closure, but it really wasn't like that. I didn't really care like that. It just was for me to understand something about myself, and at that time and point of my life. That was like, this was like 5 years later, like, so I was like, all right, well, I wanted to do this for an article. I did say like, oh, well, I'm writing this, an article, blah, blah, blah. And I did it, and we had,
I feel like I remember that already or something.
Yes, it was unanswered questions from an unexpected.
Yeah. I think I
And because I didn't expect him to answer me. Like, I was like, we left off on really bad terms. Like, it was crazy. Like, so I was just like, you know what, let me talk to this person. And we actually like had a great conversation. I understood like what was happening, what was going on. And in the back of my mind, it's funny because I knew certain things were happening that he didn't expect me to know, because like we didn't go to the same school, and I knew people that he knew, and he didn't think that I knew them. So it's like I knew like, what was going on, even though like, I wasn't there. And I was just like, I'm always going to listen to your side of the story. Like, your truth is always going to be your truth, So I was like, and my truth is my truth. So I was like, all right, well, I explained myself also, because I was at a point in my life where I thought I was at, and then I understood where he thought he was and how he was coming into the relationship. I'm like, I was like, for someone this is your first like long-term like relationship, why would you think that I'm broken? I was like really like, wow, like you thought that about me. And I was like, and he like explained like certain things, and I was like, oh, that's how you felt. Like, why wasn't this like brought up, during the time, And it was actually a very insightful like conversation, especially to understand something about me. So I was like, okay. And it was definitely a chapter closed. I felt like it was like, okay, well, I have answers to questions that I probably in the back of my mind didn't think I would ever ask. And, it was a chapter closed. And I was like, oh, this is nice. A nice feeling.
That's dope. I feel my last relationship was the complete opposite. So this was prime pandemic. Quarantines was out. Cops was stopping people, telling them to go in their houses. And so me and my girl can see each other. And so, well, my girl at the time. And so it's
Nothing.
So it's like January, and you know, quarantine starts. January, February goes by. Like, we on the phone and shit, but I'm like, yo, I want to see you, like, this and that. She's like, no, I'm scared of COVID, and I got to think about my family, this and that. I'm like, cool. March goes by. March is next. April goes by. I'm like, yo, it's been 4 months. Like, what we doing? She's like, yeah, I know, but I'm so scared. And, you know, COVID craze was crazy back then. So I'm like, I'm going to try to be understanding. What month am I at? April. May goes by. I'm like, I need to see you. Like, this is not even a conversation no more. She's like, okay, go see each other at the park. You know, have a good day. We chilling. You know, the vibe was good to me at least. And then June comes, and I'm like, yo, I want to see you again. Like, I'm not waiting 5 months again. And she's like, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, you know what we been doing? Like, we wasn't doing nothing. It's been 6 months. Like, what you talking about? She's like, yeah, I just don't think when we was at the park, it just felt off. I'm like, for who? Like, I felt great. Like, I saw you, we was chilling, whatever. And so I'm like, I need to see you and speak to you in person. So I went to go see her. She came out, we was talking. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like,
Was I talking with mask on?
No,
Oh.
we wasn't wearing no mask. But which is weird now that I think about it. She was so scared, but you know, whatever. Right?
That's a good.
That's a good question, but listen. So we're talking, and she's like, you know, I just lost it or whatever. I'm like, you were saying you love me, you know, in January, but then now we don't see each other. You put the effort into say you want to keep your family safe, to not see me, but then now it's like you lost a love or something. So I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. And when shit don't make sense to me, I'm like, I need to ask these questions. Like, let's have a dialogue. So I'm asking her, she's just saying the same shit over and over. I'm like, I could tell this is not gonna go anywhere. So I'm like, is there somebody else? Like, is that, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me right now. She's like, no, of course not. Da da da. So I'm like, all right, you can go now. Like, I'm just gonna go home. And so for that relationship, I feel like I would have wanted closure. I don't need it right now. I'm super content. Like, I'm happy where I'm at. But especially in the beginning of my current relationship, when my girl wouldn't respond sometimes, because that would be her defense mechanism. When she's tight, she like ghosts. I'll get in my head about it, like, yo, is it's about to happen again? Is it me? Like, what's da 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 da? I'm like just in my head about it. And so I feel like if I would have found out the real reason why she ended it, I wouldn't be so in my head about certain things. I'm cool now. Like, I don't worry about that shit now. But like at the time, it would have been cool to have some closure. Yeah.
So in terms of relationships, like, for you guys, do you feel like sex alters the levels of relationships, or does it stay the same? Does it get worse? Like,
I'm actually shocked that she asked that question.
I know, because this is a Serena question. Like, what?
Does it alter, change, or stay the same?
Yeah.
Wait, what you mean by that?
So, like, say for example, like, you and this girl are talking, and you see her long term, but then y'all have sex before you make it official. Like, does that change your vision of her, or like, do you kind of just like, okay, well, we just had sex, but like you keep it pushing?
That shit is dumb to me. To me personally, because it's like, if y'all feeling each other and it happens, then it just happened. Like, who cares how fast or whatever? Yeah. Now, if your intentions is to be like, yeah, let me try to get this as quick as possible,
right?
Then maybe that changes it. But if you want to be with this person and y'all vibing, then I don't think that matters. Yeah.
I think I gotta work on my trust issues a little bit more. Like, because like you said something about dang, that slipped me. You said something like, yeah, if you feeling each other, blah blah blah, and there's no, like, we didn't make it official yet, but like we're feeling each other. For me, it's just like, I don't know, I need more than just a feeling each other.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I can feel anybody. Like, you can feel anybody too. So it's just like, I need a little bit more than that. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the, like, I guess, what is the point where you just like, okay, I trust you to, like, if we do this.
Oh, that's a
long.
long.
That's like a long.
Yeah, like, I've got to see. Because the thing is, I gotta see you, like, you as a person, period. Not even, like, how you treat me, how you treat other people. I know I think, like, mad deep about it, but it's just, like,
Right.
No, I get that.
I'm not sleeping with an a-hole, you know? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's, like, it's more to it. Because the thing is, like, you could treat me good because you want what I have.
Right.
How do you treat other people outside of me? Who are you truly as a person? Because the thing is, at the end of the day, I can sleep with you, whatever, we can feel each other, we can get into a relationship, and then that real person that you are outside of me, after you get whatever, after we do whatever,
comes out.
and then I'm gonna feel like dumb for even doing that, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
And I feel like women definitely have to worry about that more because of how, you know, the societal norms are for guys. Like, oh, get as many women as you can. This is how you. This is what you say. This is how you do to get the panties fast.
Yeah.
And so I know that's a constant thing on women's mind. And
Well, not for me no more, because I watched Steve Harvey, How to Think Like a Man. So try to play me. I got you right back.
I'm really big on that. Like, it's like, if I have very high standards, like, in the bedroom. So it's like, if you trash, like, I can't fuck with you. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, no funny shit. Like, I really, like, it just stresses me out. I'm like, why do we have to do this?
So that's like your test to see if you can stay long term type thing, or
no, it's more so like, if we're together and we're working on this, and you show me like, okay, this is us in the bed, like, bro, like, you gotta do something. Like, after like a couple of times and you still not getting better, bro, like, I gotta teach you this now. Like, I can't. That's too much. That's too much. Like, I shouldn't have to teach you nothing, but not for me, because that's one thing that one of my friends, like, one of my closest friends always asks me. She's like, yo, like, is this something, like, she's like, okay, because she knows that that's something, like, I would, like, look at. She's okay, but didn't you just tell me that person was not, like, doing it for you? She like, I thought she would have been left, like, you know, because, like, I'm that type of person. I'd have been like, listen, I was like, I'm making it work because, you know, I like this person, like, I feel like we can work this out, be long-term relationship, you know, like, I feel like I was with that person for, like, mad years, and I'm just like, all right, well.
But it's just, after years?
No. He got better over time. He got better over time. Like, no. But because it worked out. Like, he got better. You know, we learned each other's bodies, and I was like, okay, well, this is working out. But for me, it's like, all right, well, if this is not cutting it, like, we can't continue in this capacity, like this, because it's like, I have to get, like, for certain people, like, that is something that makes things work better. Like, that's a connection that people want to experience. For me, like, that's a connection that I would like to experience, because that's a, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but
I get what you mean.
Like, that's an experience I would like to have. I had this conversation with somebody. I can't remember what it was, what it really started as, but I was like, when you have, you connect in multiple ways, having, like, sexual encounters with people, and I was like, your energies transfer when you have sex with people. Like, I don't know if you've experienced that energy transfer, but that is something that, like, I like to experience. Like, as if I'm gonna be with you, like, we have to be able to connect. In that way. Like, so it's like, if we're not getting to that point, like, why we having sex? Like, why we here? Like, you know, like, why is this added to our relationship if we can't build that? That means then I don't need sex from you. Like, you know, like, that's, I don't know.
So do you feel like that's like a deal breaker for you? Like,
in a sense, like, if you can't, because it's like, why should I be able to please you but you can't please me?
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and I feel like it's definitely different for each person, but sex is, like, super important in a relationship. Unless you're asexual or something, that's different. But
yeah, that shit don't matter. They don't feel that
attracted to, like, anybody, or they don't
sexually though.
Yeah, like, they have no sexual desire, basically.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, but, like, with sex, I don't like that people or society in general take sex as just sex. Yeah. When in a relationship, it's more, like you said, a connection, like a transfer of energies and all that. And, you know, especially for guys, I want to say, I'm gonna speak for you as well, Shamar. Guys,
I feel like you about to say, like,
it's a fact,
I'm thinking, it's a fact.
So guys usually have the higher sex drive, and so when that's something that's like constantly being put forward, it's like, oh, all you want is sex. Like, oh, you know, it's not all about that. But don't disregard it at the same time. Like, I get that maybe your sex drive is lower, and I can respect that. But don't, if you know I have a high sex drive and you're not, you know, at least compromising me for that, then it's kind of unfair. Like, it's unbalanced.
Okay, I see. I definitely want to ask this question. We're going all the way left, but it's all right. I definitely had this conversation in regards to that. And I asked this person because I guess, I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if this is a male thing. I don't know what this is. That's why I'm going to ask this. So it's like, you can have a conversation.
Sorry, guys. My phone keeps ringing.
No, it's okay. You can have a conversation and not feel like the need to have sex. You can have a sexual conversation and not have the need to have sex.
Are you asking if we can?
Can you?
What do you mean, like flirting or whatever?
No. Like, I feel... Yo, I just turned around.
Oh, like sex
if you're
in the
having,
conversation.
yeah, if you're having a conversation about sex, whatever you want to talk about during sex, like, does that make you want to have sex?
Nah, not necessarily, no.
So do you feel like that's a maturity thing? Or do you feel like, oh, I just want to have sex because that's where my head is at?
That's definitely a maturity thing, I feel like.
Okay.
Because 16, 17, as soon as you mention booty, whatever, I'm like, what are you talking about right now? Yeah. But like, yeah, as you get older, it's not the forefront of your mind.
Right.
So you can have an adult conversation about sex and what you want and what pleases you and whatnot without, you know, being hard in that moment.
No, I also think it's definitely maturity, but I think it's also experience too. I feel like for somebody who's like 35 and like never had sex before, like it's always in their mind because the society is just like, it's been pushed like 35 and you're a virgin, that's crazy. But it's also like it's also like an experience that they want to have. It's almost like when you want to do something, like say for example, you always wanted to visit Italy, right? But it's like you're 30 now, and in 30 years you've never seen Italy before. Like that's always gonna be in the back of your mind, especially if it's something that's like a high priority for you.
Yeah.
So it's like when it comes to guys, like it's also experience. Like if you barely had sex before, and it's just like somebody mentions it, it's like, oh my god, like I really want to experience that. But it's like knowing that it's hard to obtain, like it's just every time somebody brings it up, it's like, oh my god, like I want it. But it's just like I feel like the more experience you have with something, it's just like, okay, like we could talk about being in the bed. Like it's not a thing anymore because you've already experienced it multiple times. Yeah. Or it's something you never had before.
So then, what about when you? This was a good question though. When you when you have sex, are you satisfied for a long period of time?
Long period of time? I don't know about long.
What you mean, like till the next session? Like till the next time you have sex?
Yeah. How long is that satisfaction last? I should say then.
I mean, my sex drive is super high, so if tomorrow I could be like, let's do it again. Let's get right.
See, I'm saying because like this, I don't know if it's like a
guy thing.
No, I don't want to say a guy thing because I don't want to say a guy thing because I could want to have sex every day if I really wanted to. But satisfaction, is more so like, all right, well, you had this very intense sex, like, oh, this is gonna do me until that next time. Like this is gonna keep me like settled for that next time. Like that's what I'm saying. Like what kind of? That's why I be asking me what kind of sexual experiences y'all be having. Like are y'all wilding in the bedroom? Like I would like to understand. Like, do you get that satisfaction in the bed? Like,
it's different.
I guess that transfer of energy is what I'm really also referring to.
Yeah, I think it's different all the time because sex is not just physical. It's like how you feel about yourself. Are you confident? Is your self-esteem up there? Are you stressed at work? It's a lot of factors. But when the stars align and you're not stressed and you getting paid good, you feel you high self-esteem and y'all come together and y'all both on the same timing, that's when it really hits.
Okay.
And
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cause I'm not gonna lie, like every time you have sex is not gonna be that. Like there's gonna be times where like you're doing it just to do it, or like you kind of get in the moment, but then as it's going along, you just like, I don't feel like doing this, but like you're not gonna stop, so you're just gonna like finish it off. So yeah, I would agree. Like I think it's when you both like, say for it could be like a nice little date like y'all went on, or y'all just like hung out or something, and it's like everybody's like calm, relaxed, and then just like it just happens naturally. I think that's like the best time. But if it's something where you feel like you have to because that person is in the mood, or like
you wow, and I'm turning you down. If I'm not in the mood, we not having sex.
Not,
like,
but some people
like sometimes you gotta do that, like loyal, like you know. Like,
because some people feel like, okay, like say for example, if me and my girl, like we haven't had sex in 2 weeks, and then like I don't tell her directly, but I'm just like I'm trying to do things like sometimes, like I'm not saying her, but I'm saying in general, like relationships, like some women will feel like, okay, let me just do it because it's been 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure he wants it.
Damn,
like,
you don't tell her that you want to have sex. You don't say just
directly?
say that. You don't? Do you say that?
No, not really. I think it more so just happens. Like it could just be in a mood. Like we went on a nice date, and then like I'm filling up on her, she filling up on me, and then it's just like it just happens.
No cues, of course, but damn, like there be moments that you don't say that. Like you don't just be very direct with it. Damn.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever.
I've been trying to
like okay, maybe I've said it before. Like yo, I want to fuck. Like, but I don't.
Damn, don't say it like that. Be like, yes, I would like, yeah, I'm trying to have sex with you, da da da. You know, be nice about it. Like, oh, you know, like,
well,
da da da.
Right. Then okay, I don't think I've ever said it, but I've done it in actions where it's like, she'll know if I'm doing this, like I want it, like,
yeah,
like if I look at you up and down, or if like I smack your ass like 5 times, like within like 2 minutes, like you know.
Yeah.
But like I don't think I've ever directly said, yo, like, can we do this now? Like. I don't think I've done that before.
I feel like, I feel like you should. Like, I'm not saying just be in her face, like, yeah, like bend over, right? Like, don't be too fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But like, if that's how you feel, and you know she's not getting the hints, or you know, just let her like, yo, like, what's up? Like, I'm feeling a certain way right now. Like, let's get into it. Like, whatever you want to say. I feel like that's cool. And another thing I wanted to say too was, with the build up, like you say, you on a date and it happens naturally, like those things, the build up is super important to how you finish. So if you on a date, you saying she look beautiful, y'all dress up, like all that effort put in, even for the guys. And I know guys don't appreciate that or don't acknowledge it much, but the foreplay, it intensifies our experience as well. And so I just think for both parties, that should be like the goal. If y'all want to make it.
Yeah,
I agree.
So we could close out. Shamar, what you want to say first?
Yeah, I guess to close out, I'm gonna say social medias, Instagram, Twitter _ we want more. Y'all know the vibes.
Damn, we gotta say hers because
yes, she stepped out for a phone call, but Shianne Wisdom.
Yes, at Shianne Wisdom.
_ law designs for my business profile, and _ the finest your highness for my personal, and that's it.
You can follow me Instagram and Twitter. It's Re the Host, and of course, you know the link for the book is in the this is down there for y'all, because you know second book, guys. This is my second book. If you didn't know, now you know. And of course, make sure you follow the show's page on Instagram and Twitter. It's TNTK Show. And as always, guys, thank you for watching the show.
And that's all you need to know.
Bye, guys. I'm tired, you guys. It's hot. See, now it's hot. We're in here sweating.